Assalamu alaikum everyone. मेरा नाम is Dr. Aisha Mia. I'm a psychiatrist by training. Today I'm here representing IAM Karachi and for our program which is about the role of women in the peace building process. This is a series of podcasts that we've done in the past, but today we are here to do a fireside chat which will be a one-on-one conversation with President Sulaiman Shahabuddin of Aga Khan University. Very quickly, if I can introduce him, but I'd like him to add a little bit of, his own introduction as well. Sulaiman Shahabuddin has been part of AKU and the AKHS for over 20 years, 25 years, 35 years, 35 years, all right. And he was working at AKU before, right after graduating from IBA in Karachi. Left for East Africa, where he was for over 20 years and has recently returned to now take over the reins as president of AKU Global since December of 2021. Would that be correct? Wonderful. So thank you so much for joining us today. Would you want to add something to your introduction, Sulaiman?
Thank you, Aisha. Assalamu alaikum to you and to everyone. I think, just to add, it's been an absolute delight coming back to Pakistan after 20 years, coming back to the Aga Khan University. So yeah, I'm very, very grateful to His Highness the Aga Khan for appointing me as a president. It's quite an honor.
Well, we are very happy to have you back. So, Sulaiman, we're going to today focus on the role of institutions that, they may have in promoting the role of women in peace building process. So pehle to thoda sa, to put things into context, when people think about AKU, and, we'll do this briefly because I feel that people don't quite know the extent of, the feelers of AKU and AKDN. So जब AKU की बात आती है, तो at least कराची में तो ये होता है कि अस्पताल है. ठीक है, AKU का अस्पताल है. Tell us a little bit about what is AKDN and AKU ka kya space hai within that, and where all, do these spaces exist?
Let me start by just setting the tone. Okay. So I think for an institution like AKDN, gender equality, women empowerment is really important. We all know the context in which we operate. We know that in Pakistan, gender equality is ranked at 153 out of 156. So it's a serious challenge. This, at least from an institutional standpoint, we know that this situation disempowers women, whether we talk of access to politics, access to health, access to economic empowerment, education attainment, and all of this leads to serious consequences. First is just the injustice of it. Not having millions and millions of women participate in economic activity in the political sphere has its own challenges. Secondly, we also know that this is a drag on Pakistan itself, and this is not just about men; they are also affected by this drag. So I think we have to realize that this is a serious issue that all of us need to do a lot more. And this is where institutions like AKDN come in. So I think in the AKDN sphere, the work of AKDN has been multifaceted. We have been focusing on education and skills training, health and healthcare delivery, conservation and cultural heritage, infrastructure development, economic industries and empowerment, urban planning, rural development, and so on. And we see, and if I can give an example, Aisha, we see this in Afghanistan. We see our work in Afghanistan in a conflict zone where we have hospitals, we have educational systems, we have telecom companies, we are in the energy space, and so on, connectivity and communications, restoration of cultural heritage, and so on. So I think, coming to your question, empowering women has always been a key philosophy of the Aga Khan Development Network. And you can see that in many forms. If I take you back to Pakistan, we started with the School of Nursing. And the School of Nursing of the Aga Khan University has had a transformational impact on the status of women and the status of the nursing profession across Pakistan. और आज आप देखें कि आई एम सो प्राउड कि 87% of nursing leaders across the public and private sector across Pakistan are AQ alums. So it tells you of the impact that women are making and that nurses are making. Half of our faculty are women. Over 40% of our employees are women. Of the 11,600 graduates that we have had, 11,600 graduates are women. And these are 11,000 change agents that we have at AKU. So again, I mean, I can go on and on, but His Highness's grandfather established the first school in Zanzibar over 100 years. And this was a girls' school. Imagine the vision of
So tell me about that, because I was very struck by this, when I have visited Gilgit-Baltistan area, there was a lot of emphasis. In fact, pretty much all the AKDN के जो schools हैं वहाँ पे they're all girls schools, right? And you're in spaces that are conflict-ridden spaces. You're in spaces that are hard spaces. वहाँ पे intolerance भी है, religious intolerance है, extremism है, terrorism hai, so much of it. So what is that vision about? What do these girls do?
So Aisha, the vision starts from the top. In our case, the vision comes from His Highness the Aga Khan, who has been a forceful advocate for women's empowerment and leadership all his life. And I'll read this quote out. And he said this 30 years back. And he said this to AKU graduates. He said, there is neither democracy nor meritocracy in a society that excludes half of its members. It's a very powerful statement. And this is the guidance, this is the vision that the Chancellor has set for us. And all institutions, and again, as I was mentioning, that His Highness's grandfather established a school of nursing, the first girls' school. And this has carried on with the current Highness. So that's the vision. So if you go to, you talk of Gilgit-Baltistan, the literacy rates over there are very high. And the literacy rates are high in women, in girls, as much as in men. It's the focus, it's the emphasis, it's that enabling environment that has been created to allow our girls and women to feel empowered. In Afghanistan, I can talk about the FMIC, the French Medical Institute for Mothers and Children, that is operated and managed by the Aga Khan University. 27% of the employees, even in Afghanistan, are women. We were the first in Afghanistan to train women specialists in pediatric surgery, in pathology, in radiology. And these are incredible stories. When you see a woman pathologist, a radiologist, a surgeon, it sends such a powerful message in that society, across the world, but in that society in particular.
Right. And you've been part of, as you said, the AKHS, AKU, AKDN system for over 35 years. जब आप grassroots पे इतना बड़ा change लेके आते हैं कि आपने कहा कि girls education is going to be sort of the main focus, nursing school is going to be, Institute of Education Development is formed, उसमें 90% of the register women. So how does that change the community at the grassroots? How have you seen, and it's also in East Africa, I'm assuming Kenya is a very conflict-ridden country as well, जिसमें gender inequality भी है, misogyny भी है, terrorism भी है, और all sorts of extremism भी है. तो जब आप एक लड़की को पढ़ा रहे हैं, एक लड़की को बोल रहे हैं और फिर एक नर्सिंग स्कूल बना रहे हैं so that they kind of are inspired कि मैं बड़ी होके यहाँ जाऊँगी, या एजुकेशन ID बढ़ा रहे हैं, so how does that change society at the basic level?
See, we know that when women are empowered, when they're educated, they have an impact on the quality of life of their family and the community where they operate. So I think both the basic premise ho gaya. Their earnings, their economic activity helps reduce poverty levels. And that's a significant force. Uh, Empowering women also mean that they have a voice in life and in politics, which means that they can manage conflicts better. And we know that conflicts are the hardest on women in whichever country or wherever conflicts happen. So I think इसका एक cascading chain है सारा event है. So if we can empower women, improve quality of life, we will see the lives of families and communities changing, and that should be the focus.
I've also been to ISMC in London, which really has, आपने बिल्कुल शहर के बीच में, you've kind of opened a institute of, study of Muslim civilizations right there in the middle of, and it's the idea is to promote pluralism, inclusivity, tolerance, and how do we live together, and sort of the whole Islamic culture and Islamic studies and stuff right there. In a culture जहाँ पे इतना ज़्यादा conflict है in this space और इतना डर खौफ है, and that's the basic premise of what AKDN and AKU and you all do. So how does that work out? And again, even with promoting this role of women, at the grassroots level and at the leadership level, they're working in the community building, peace building process. ये सब उन मुल्कों में हो रहे हैं और उन रीजन्स में हो रहे हैं जहाँ अदरवाइज ये नहीं हो रहा है, राइट? जहाँ पे हम लड़ रहे हैं इन चीज़ों के लिए, कह रहे हैं कि सिस्टम्स लेवल पे ये होना चाहिए, लेकिन you all are able to do this. So how are you able to do this? What is it that enables you to manage this?
I mean, like I said, it starts from the vision. So once the vision has been established, then of course we find the right structures and the right ways to achieve that vision. You talk about, the Institute for the Study of Muslim Civilization, और बहुत research किया उन्होंने. They've also researched on the role of women in Muslim societies and Muslim civilizations. So that actually is a good space, Aisha, because in London we have the flexibility, we don't have the influences. We can do research on the very rich civilization that Muslims have had. But coming to other countries, I mean, in Pakistan, for example, we are starting the Faculty of Arts and Sciences, inshallah, in September 2023. Yeah, and that is going to be such an exciting program, and that will have streams that will talk about some of these things. So again, we're excited about that. We're excited about the School of Public Policy and Government that, inshallah, we are looking to start in 2025, 2026. So again, it is through education, it is through educating women that we feel that there will be more empowerment and things will change, inshallah.
So it is higher education systems in Pakistan that are facing challenges. It is spaces, known institutions that kind of worry about that extremism has seeped or misogyny has seeped into our cultures. And इसी बड़े institutions से ही, unfortunately, there are people, women and men coming out that are kind of partaking in these sort of जो भी incidents हैं, intolerance के हैं, terrorism के हैं. So education spaces then become such a sort of vital space जहाँ पे you can take your kids both ways. So which is sort of interesting, that how is then AKU able to manage this in a country that's so fraught with extremism otherwise?
I think there are 3 or 4 things that we can do, or that we are doing at AKU, or that we should do as a country. I think first is, and you've said it and I've said it, access to education. Girls and women need to have the same access as boys and men do. The second, of course, is that we have to have a just system of recruiting and promoting women, which I think is really important. Many organizations have biases. Some of these biases are inherent and obvious. Some of these biases are not even known, are not even realized. So I think having a strong campaign to ensure that we have fair system of advancing women in our organizations is extremely important. मैं आपको एग्जांपल दूं, I mean, I have told my team that I'm a new president of this wonderful organization, and I've said, if you do not have a reasonable gender balance in meetings that you invite me, I will not come. So again, it's all about setting the tone from the top. And now I see that, when I go to a meeting, I know that अगर वो number 1 पे नहीं है women, तो उसके deputy को ले आएंगे. But it's important. It's important to set the tone and really send these important signals. So, if you look at it, I've talked about the percentage of women students, faculty that are women at the Aga Khan University. But women's health has been an important agenda for us. And globally, whether you speak about our system in Tanzania or in Kenya or in Afghanistan or in Pakistan, we are known for the work we do in women's health. We have terrific partners such as Global Affairs Canada, who fund many of these activities along with the Aga Khan Foundation. But that's what we are known for. So women's issues, women's health, women's issues, women's education is a priority for us. And this is, again, as I said, through the School of Nursing, through our medical school, the upcoming faculties in arts and sciences, and so on.
Perfect. So last question, your vision. You're the incoming president. There's already been so much that has been done. There's a precedent that has been set. It's very clear that women are working in these spaces, in communities. Even in health, I know that आपकी कच्ची आबादियों में भी और मटियारी में और इधर हमारे वो हैं जहाँ पे sort of women have very active roles in peace building में भी है और community building में भी है. What vision do you bring in building upon?
So, while Aisha, we have done a lot of good things, but लेकिन अब बहुत काम बाकी है. I think what I would like to do is to create as many role models, women role models, as I can. My wife is an alumna of the School of Nursing, Zenith, and she went then to do her doctorate in nursing at Johns Hopkins. Today, she is the regional chief executive officer of the Aga Khan Health Services in East Africa. So when I look at her, I see
and quite a mover shaker.
Yeah. No, but when I see her, it gives me a lot of pride, because here is someone who came from not a very affluent family in Pakistan, went through a profession that changed her life, a profession that was not regarded as a high status profession if you go back 30-40 years, went on to do her doctorate, has this wonderful position. So again, it's role models like that inspire women and inspire even men, to kind of see that this is the way to approach education, to approach empowerment, and so on. So again, one of the things I want to do is to bring women into leadership positions and to create those powerful role models, and to ensure that we are just and fair in advancing the cause of women within our organization. So that's my vision. Kaam bahut hai. These are just start and...
Right. So there are about 50 women who've gone through this leadership program who will be watching you and hearing you in 2 days' time. These are women who've gone through a sort of a 3-month leadership program, again focused on कि उनका क्या role हो सकता है in building peace in communities and stuff. What would you say to them? They have all figured out some small projects that they would be doing to kind of, but what would you say to them?
I would say that keep at it and celebrate success. As small as you think it might be, celebrate that success, because you are the role models. And if you can show the light, if you can show the world what can be achieved and accomplished, then the world will be a better place. And you will inspire, you 50 will inspire 50,000, 5 million, 50 million people. So that's the message I would say. And I would say stand up for what you need to stand up for, what is right.
Great, wonderful. Thank you so much, Sulaiman. It's really pleasure having you, and thank you for talking to us today and helping people hear about all the great work that's been done by AKDN and AKU. So really appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
All right.